Well, let's move on and talk next about tourism, because the government statistician, Professor Samuel Annim, has projected that the industry could generate 1.5 million jobs in the next few years if tourist sites are efficiently managed. He has been speaking to journalists in Accra.
The Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture is projecting that our tourism sector should be the #1 foreign exchange earner based on their strategic plan. So they're setting 2027 as the timeline where the tourism sector would be the #1 foreign exchange earner. The second perspective is the employment potential of the sector. And again, the ministry is projecting that by 2027, the sector should directly and indirectly create about 1.4 million jobs. This domestic and outbound tourism survey is basically responds to one question: how attractive are our tourist sites and the number of people who visit these tourist sites? We're currently in the field conducting the Ghana International Traveler Survey. Heading into 2023, that is the latter part of the year, we're going to roll out the two other surveys, which is the accommodation unit survey and the tourism establishment survey. So these surveys would help us put together a tourism satellite account and track the country's potential in gaining the 1.4 million jobs that we seek to get, and also getting in excess of 1.5 billion USD from the sector. As I indicated, it's going to provide us with comprehensive information, and as part of the comprehensive information, we're going to see which sites they are visiting, what facilities are available, and the key word is how attractive are our tourist sites and whether it holds the potential to be the #1 foreign exchange earner and also create the 1.4 million jobs as the ministry has indicated.
Statistician there, Professor Annim, speaking there to journalists after the Ghana Statistical Service yesterday announced that it was going to conduct a survey to create a reliable database for the tourism sector. Joining me is President of the Africa Tourism Research Network, Emmanuel Frimpong. Good to see you, and congratulations on your new role as President of the Africa Tourism Research Network. I want to first begin with the survey that was announced by the Ghana Statistical Service yesterday to create a reliable database for the tourism sector. How important is that move?
Good afternoon, Darrell, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers. First of all, let me congratulate the Ghana Statistical Service for this initiative. If you look at what tourism has been doing in the country for the past few years, this has been long overdue. And for some of us, we've been talking about this for some time now. So I think it is the right direction that they have taken. We applaud them. But the question that we also need to ask is, I like the way they put it, reliable database. From where we stand, that is the question that we want to be asking. That is this thing a reliable database that they have? Who are the people that they are engaging? And we hope to see that we have relevant and reliable data as they have started the job.
Well, one of the expectations is that this reliable database will advise policy, and I'm just wondering, in terms of policy direction, how, whether we are on track. I mean, the Ghana Tourism Authority, I think earlier this month, launched its 50th anniversary and celebrations, and it talked about or touted the impressive growth we have witnessed in the tourism space in the last couple of years. In terms of policy direction, are we headed in the right direction, and how would this really help us?
To be honest with you, we are not. And just this morning, I made this allusion on one of our tourism platforms. And then last 2 weeks, when we launched the African Tourism Research Network, the topic that we dealt with was data. Is it a reliable one for us, and how relevant it is? So if you look at what we have at the moment, we are not using the data that we are supposed to be using because we don't have it in the first place. We don't have a reliable data that is informing decisions that we take in tourism. So more often, it's like we just sit down, put something together, and we decide based on this unreliable data that we have on our hands. And you mentioned last week, GTA launched the 50th anniversary of Ghana Tourism Authority. And one of the things that was done at the event was the launch of the tourism report, which came out. And we, as African Tourism Research Network, have put a team together and have studied the report. And we have a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of issues that we are hoping to sit down with GTA and look at how best can we get a reliable data that will inform decision making, that will inform policy. Because the way we are going about it, it is not the right way to go. So I'm excited. Ghana Statistical Service has come in. Interestingly, we have institutional place as a board member for Ghana Statistical Service, and we are open to work with them. And let me quickly chip in this. Just yesterday, I went to Tema to meet the traditional caterers there. There were just about 200. And I decided to do a quick survey, and I asked all of them how many people employ more than 3 people as a traditional caterer. Interestingly, almost everybody there employs more than 3 persons. So if you have 200 people there employ more than 3 persons, we have 600 people employed by just a small group in Community 4 in Tema. So you multiply this by the numbers that we have in the country, but we don't have this data available for us to make an informed decision, have some strategy towards these traditional caterers who are employing thousands and thousands of people. So these are things that we keep talking about, and I'm happy that the government is coming on board. Hopefully, it will not be one of those talks that we've been having, but something that they really mean business and they want to do.
Yeah, and interesting you talk about jobs, because the government statistician mentioned that we could create 1.5 million jobs in the next few years if we manage our tourist sites efficiently, and that comes up now and then.
He's right. Last 3 weeks, I granted an interview to Ghana News Agency, and I made mention of that. And during the COVID, I also made mention that even though we don't have data to support the job employment by this sector, we have over 800,000 people who are directly or indirectly employed in this sector. It is far more than that, but we don't have the data. So he's right. For me, we even already probably have more than the 1.4 million that they are projecting. For me, between now and to 2024, we should even be looking at 2 million to 2.5. And that is possible, Darryl. It is possible. We can do it, and we can easily do it if we are committed to it.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about some of the well, maybe an assessment that you have done based on the data that was provided, the tourism sector report. I'm just interested in figuring out some of the loopholes or the challenges that you have discovered that you think needs urgent addressing. For instance, there's also talk about the high cost of hospitality services here in Ghana compared to other countries, the cost of hotel accommodation, for instance. How do we deal with such challenges?
Darryl, the bottom line is that as a country, and it comes back to data, because we don't have data to really figure out the contribution of the sector. So what we are doing is we are taxing the sector. We are doing everything indirectly to siphon the little that is supposed to go to investment in the sector. So investors in the sector are not able to plow back their profit into the sector and to employ more people. Beyond that, we also don't get support from the sector. If you take the car rentals, if somebody brings in a luxury car for the purposes of renting out, that person is supposed to pay importation tax, any tax, just like any normal person who is bringing a luxury car for his personal use. And this person is bringing this car in for the purposes of renting out. So these are issues that we need to start looking at, and then looking at how best can we support the sector. If we have the data to know that, okay, this is how much the sector is contributing, then we will have the right policy directed to the sector to support the sector. And I was excited the government statistician talked about the tourism satellite account that has been in the pipeline for years. We go on it, we come back, no commitment, no interest. So it is a challenge for every one of us. if we can pay attention to tourism, trust me, most of our issues, unemployment, revenue, all those things will be solved.
Great to speak with you, President of the Africa Tourism Research Network, Emmanuel Frimpong. Congratulations once again. We'll be looking forward to reading about the assessment you've made of the tourism sector report launched by the Ghana Tourism Authority. But before